I think it's excellent that this workshop today is being held. There are so many great initiatives, and sometimes I really think we do not need more good ideas. We just need to look at what already exists in other countries and then just apply the best practices to other countries. And I really hope, because Felix Creutzig and Susanne Menge, they already addressed so many important issues, that I can tell you something new in my presentation. Next slide. Perfect. Yeah. Allow me to start by saying a few words about what the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung does, and what we specifically want to achieve in our regional climate and energy project, MENA, with our work at national and international level. The Friedrich Ebert Foundation strengthens civil society by empowering them to successfully engage in political, trade union, and in the civil spheres. We advocate for free societies, for strong democracies and welfare states, which offers all its citizens the same opportunities to participate on political, economic, social and cultural levels, regardless of their origin, of their sex or religion. Next slide. One of our more than 100 offices worldwide is here in Jordan. And in Jordan, there are also like other projects, but one of the projects that is based in Jordan is the Regional Climate and Energy Project, MENA. So we work on Jordan, but we also work on a regional level. And the three main pillars of our work are a just energy transition, climate justice, and social and sustainable cities. Next slide. As you can hear, the social and the justice aspects are very important to us. It's not only important to us that the Paris climate targets are met, but we also see the path to this goal embedded in the SDGs, and we see it above all as a major social challenge. Therefore, we advocate for a just transition. We think it's not enough only to make our economy greener. We also need to reshape our society towards a care economy. And we think that no one should be left behind on this way. So this is also why it's clear for us that we always include a gender perspective in all our working lines. And one very important sector that causes not only a lot of CO2 emissions in the MENA region, but also a lot of injustice so far, due to its structure is the mobility sector. And mobility is also not gender neutral. Access to transportation is essential for allowing women, but also poor citizens, the elderly, children, people with disabilities, to achieve their full potential. Next slide. Now, when we look at Jordan and Amman, the capital of Jordan specifically, we notice that there is a growing need for transportation and for mobility due to a massive demographic and urban growth. Almost half of the population of Jordan lives in Amman. And in 2004, there were 1.9 million inhabitants in Amman governorate. And in 2019, it was already 4.4 million, primarily due to refugee influxes from Syria and Iraq. This is why also the car ownership rates in Jordan have increased almost 10 times in less than 4 decades. And now it's, yeah, and in 2017, it was like 1 vehicle per 6 persons, as shown in this table here. And the increasing reliance on private cars has resulted in many problems. Next slide. Here you can see all the problems and challenges. One of these problems is air pollution. 50 to 90% of air pollution in Jordan, in Jordanian towns, is caused by road traffic, and air pollution in urban areas carries public health risks, and also negatively affects people's ability to engage in more active mobility, such as walking and cycling. And the GHG emissions attributed to transport in Jordan in 2016 were 16%. And now it's, I assume it's even more, 2021. And this increasing reliance on private cars has also resulted in traffic congestion, especially in cities with the highest population densities. So Amman is one of them. Yeah, there are also a lot of challenges in pedestrian mobility. This stems from weak enforcement of sidewalk standards, and there's also a lack of sidewalk maintenance. And these are like the sidewalk construction and the maintenance are the responsibility of private landowners. And there's also weak enforcement of traffic laws, especially as they relate to pedestrian crossings. Cycling in Jordan is not a common mode of transport. It is largely viewed as a recreational activity. There is no infrastructure for cyclists. And also a lot of people think, because Amman is quite hilly, that this hilly topography is also seen as a hindrance to adopting that mode of transport, of mobility on a wide scale. Then to the public transport system. Some estimates put the public transport mode share at 33% nationally. The majority of public transport users are thought to be captive riders, which means they have no other option for traveling because they, for example, don't have a car. And the lack of a safe and efficient public transport system has also been cited as one of the main reasons behind the significantly low rate of female participation in the workforce, which stands at below 14%. It's among the lowest worldwide. And I know that like later you will also have Saha Alul here from Sadaka. She's a close partner of our project, and in 2018 we published a study and we found out that more than 47% of Jordanian women have declined a job offer due to the lack of safe, affordable and accessible public transportation availability. So I think this number is quite high. But Amman has already made some progress regarding public transportation. There's now a new bus rapid transit system in Amman. One of the lines went into operation in this year, but there is still one line under construction, the line between Amman and another city that is new to Amman, Sarka, which will probably go into operation like next year, we'll see. But also like this project went into operation 10 years after the originally planned date. So everything is taking ages. But still also with the BRT system, the first and the last mile is still something that needs to be tackled. Then to electric cars and hybrid cars. There are more and more electric and hybrid cars in Jordan, especially because the government granted tax and custom exemptions. But people in general are still reluctant to depend on electric vehicles as their primary vehicles, because there's also a lack of charging stations. Then there are almost no green spaces in Amman. This also means that there's often like no shade when waiting for a bus, or even like when waiting, like when someone wants to sit down during the waiting time. And there are also a few areas that could absorb the CO2 emissions. Then a very big challenge in Jordan is always the funding. So the funding for public transport. Jordan is quite bankrupt, I would say, and projects can only be implemented if there is enough funding for it. And this is then mostly like through international donor organizations. And of course, many challenges that I haven't mentioned yet. But all in all, we can say that there are high economic, social, safety, health, and environmental costs. And these reduce the mobility for most of the citizens in the country and in Amman, in particularly vulnerable groups such as women, elderly, and also disabled people.
So I'm waving a bit the flag of time running out.
Yeah.
But I think you're also there for our participants in the chat. There was one question that I also had in my mind. Why is it so unusual to install a bus system, which is always quicker than building rails? Do you have an answer to that?
Sorry, could you repeat your question? I haven't.
What about just integration for informal bus system? Because when you're building a rail, it is always taking ages, as you pointed out. And bus systems, like in the US, might be quicker to install.
Mm-hmm. I would say the problem is mainly corruption, because like they made this decision already, I think in 2008 or 9. And then like after some years, they stopped it again, and then they were running out of finances. And then like an international donor organization decided again, no, we need this BRT system. And of course, like if always like some people try to benefit from it, in the end, it's taking time. But I think the main problem is not only the construction, but also the that people are using it in the end. Okay. And I think therefore this is why I said like we need to tackle the first and the last mile, because people have to get to the BRT bus stop before and also to go to their destination.
Thank you for your input. Nice to have you here.